Yes, yeah, my name is Chris, and I am starting this channel. I need to work on my camera angle, I think. Anyway, this is my introduction video. I just want to tell a little bit about myself when I'm starting this new channel here. Pretty much not going to be anybody probably watching this right away, so I guess the mess it is right now, people are probably commenting on it later. Anyway, I'm going to get started. I am a liberal Southern Baptist. Um, I grew up in what was Free Will Southern Baptist. Is my background. I used to go to, well, basically, it's put it this way. I went to school, Sunday school. My family went to church 4 times a week, but three times on Sunday, and 1 time on Wednesday night. We went to Sunday school, a morning service, evening service on Sunday, and then Bible study on Wednesday night. And uh, I grew up in church. My earliest memories, I was probably in church from diapers on. I don't remember that part, but I do remember going to church pretty much my entire childhood. And I would, I paid attention, and I just don't understand what happened in this world. But this channel isn't just going to be about religion. I just wanted to put that as so people can understand my way of seeing the world is how and not how I grew up. And we were taught, the message of Jesus and how he wanted to help everybody. He wanted everybody to be able to eat and be healthy and happy. And uh, I mean, it was that was what I grew up with. Uh, Also, just a fair warning, I do have ADHD, so my brain is like going to jump around a little bit. So I'm trying to keep focused. I do have an outline to help me try to stay on task here. Um, but I grew up in a little town called Grundy, Virginia. It was a coal mine town. My dad was a coal miner. My mom was a bank teller. During my high school years, my mom went back to school and got her master's degree and became a school counselor. I went on to college myself and took several classes in college, and eventually I got around to it. I got a bachelor's degree in education myself, with a minor in computer technology. I also have a associate's degree in psychology. Uh, I have another associate's degree in electricity, actually. Um, so I am familiar with some of that. So I know how some of all that works to some degree. It's not as much as somebody who went into the higher levels, of course, but I am familiar enough to be dangerous, basically, um, which is a thing with ADHD people. I didn't get diagnosed with ADHD until I was, God, what, 25, I think, 25 years old when they finally diagnosed me. They started me out on Ritalin when I was going to college to help me focus and for a while, but I didn't like how it made me feel. Eventually, I stopped taking it. I don't take it anymore. Currently, I'm untreated. Technically, I treat with caffeine. So, yeah. There's that. Um, Growing up in Appalachia, of course, some people think I'm against guns. I am not against guns. I grew up around guns just like everybody else in Appalachia. I learned how to properly take care of them. I knew what they were used for. I learned how to shoot them. I was a fairly good shot at one point. Probably not now, but I was. I learned how to shoot bow and arrows. I mostly I had air guns, which we call BB guns back then, but I guess they're called air guns now. But I am, like I said, I'm not against guns, but I don't think stupid people should have them, and people that don't know how to use them properly and be safe with them should not have them. Uh, just like I wouldn't want somebody who couldn't properly operate a car not have a car. It's not any different to me. I think these things should be, um, they should make sense, and they should be. We should do stuff that just not stupid. How about we try that? Anyway, that was a tangent. That was part of my ADHD. That's not even in my script, by the way. I did want to tell a cute little story about when I was younger. I would frustrate my Sunday school teachers because we would get to church early because my mom also usually worked as a you, well, since she worked at the bank, they had her work as a treasurer a lot of times. So she would get to the church early. We got there earlier usually, and I would go into the Sunday school class. The teacher would already had the little pamphlets and whatever lesson we were going to go over out. And being the kid that I was, I read it before she got there. So I knew what the lesson was going to be before she started talking, and I already knew where it was going. And she actually, funny story, she went and told my mom. She was very frustrated with me because she thought I wasn't paying attention, which probably wasn't. But I could always answer every question she put to me about the lesson we were going over because I'd already read it. I knew I knew what the lesson was going to be beforehand because I read it beforehand. And I absorbed a lot of that. Took a lot of that stuff in, and I always had a fascination with a lot of mythology stuff and the way things worked with that. And yes, currently, the current environment with religion, I'm not happy with. Um, I don't like what happened to Christianity, what I've seen in the world. It's depressing, and I don't like where the way things are going. Uh, I'm sorry, it wasn't supposed to be political. Christianity it really shouldn't be as political as it has become. Um, for some reason, people, I don't know, they just got to where they hate the teachings of Jesus, from what I can tell. Uh, and they call themselves Christians, though. And these are the same people. I look at them and I'm like, you would put him back on that cross and you'd kill him all over again because, well, one, he was a brown guy. Two, you don't like the message he had about taking care of everybody. I don't know what happened with where everything went wrong with this, but that's where we are now, and we got to try to deal with it. I also wanted to talk about some of the things growing up. Like I said, you're going to notice I'm going to go from topic to topic really bad. But I want to talk about the town I grew up in, Buchanan County. A nice little uh, wooded area, mountains. That was very mountainy. I spent a lot of my childhood in trees, growing up mountains, tracking animals, eating strawberries, eating raspberries, eating Granny Smith apples right off the tree. My grandparents always had a garden, so we could get access to really fresh vegetables. My mom and dad, when I was really young, had a garden, but as we got older and they had to work more, they didn't have time to really do that. And so we didn't have the garden completely. Eventually, mom and dad, they just did like a little, what you call it, I guess, a victory garden. They just grow a little bit of stuff during the summer and the spring and summertime. You couldn't really, the winter time, forget it. You ain't growing nothing. It's as cold as it can be. But I would go on fishing trips with my dad and my uncle Gary. I was really good at. I was actually pretty good at fishing. I always caught my limit. But also, being a kid, I would more often end up in the water swimming upstream from my Uncle Gary and my dad, and scaring the fish, as Dad said sometimes. Dad eventually started saying, "Hey, won't you go downstream?" So I wouldn't disturb their fishing. So I would be away from where they were fishing, so they could still catch their limit. I always caught my limit before they did. I was good, or I usually caught it before they did. And I have one story. One of our trips, my uncle David went with us, and he got up in a tree that was leaning over the river. It's New Rivers where we used to go fishing. That's in Withville, Virginia, for people that don't know. And we used to go there at least 2 trips a year, I think, if I remember correctly. Yeah, we went pretty often. We go and spend a couple days out in the camping. We'd go camping next to the riverbed to fish. And one of these trips, my Uncle David went with us. Now, Uncle David, he got up in this tree. He got in a perch so he could be out over the water. And about I'm going to say about 2, maybe 2 a.m., somewhere around there, we hear a really loud splash. And we come out of the tent, and Uncle David is crawling up out of the riverbank because he fell into the water. He fell asleep, and then he rolled over into the water because he passed out and fell asleep. No, and there was no drugs or anything, alcohol involved. He just fell asleep. It's straight up. We didn't do that. We didn't do the drinking and stuff like that. Uh, that wasn't in my childhood anyway. But it was a fun thing, and he just I don't remember him going back fishing with us after that. That's the only fishing trip I can remember that he went on. Or at least that was the last one he went on. I think he might have went one with us once before that, but that was the last one I can remember him going. Um, but yeah, we had fun, and one of the main things we ate on these fishing trips was bologna sandwiches, white bread and bologna sandwiches. We ate the mortal um, f out of that, I guess, better way to put it, for trying to avoid any vulgarity here, but eventually I will probably slip and say something. I am only human after all. But I had a good childhood. I did. I really did have a good childhood. Um, I had an awesome mom and dad. They did everything they could to help me become a better person as much as they could. Unfortunately, not having the diagnosis of being ADHD when I was younger, which people didn't know about back then, everybody already knew I was different. I knew I was different for that matter. I could always tell that I was a little not the same. I was just not the same as everybody else. And I knew it. I could tell. And well, growing up, I just learned to adapt to it. Um, and I'm hoping that I didn't check my sound on this. I probably should have checked my sound. I may be doing this for nothing. Let me check, see if how I sound on this. Pull up YouTube here and see if I can see this video. I didn't do a sound check, and I don't know if my microphone's working down here. Probably should have used my software for this, but I wanted to try to do it straight through YouTube for a change. Let me see. Hmm. Oh, here we are.
Oh, here we are.
Oh, okay. Just checking. Yeah, apparently.
Oh, okay. Just checking.
Okay, apparently sound is pretty good. I was worried about that. Um, ADHD. Yeah, it was. Let me see what my notes have here. Oh yeah. Anyway, I just want to have a channel where I'm going to talk about pretty much anything pops in my head. I may even put what they call AI slop on here from time to time for fun. You may notice some of my collection behind me. I am a giant Superman fan. I always have been. In fact, one of the reasons I am a Superman fan is because when I was in apparently first grade, one of my teachers told my mother, my mom didn't think I should probably read comic books, and she But the teacher told her that you need to have him read as many comic books as he can because he will read them. And when he reads them, he learns to read. So my dad took me at least once a week. We stopped by this little convenience store. They had a rack of comic books, and I learned when the certain books were coming out. I always read Spider-Man, the Hulk, and Superboy, and any Superman comic book I could get my hands on. Those were the main ones I went for every time. I loved those books. I read them. I read them till the pages fell out. So yeah, I don't have those for as far as collectible. Sorry, I wished I did. A lot of those are worth about several $100s now. But as a kid, I read them until they literally fell apart because I loved reading those books. And that teacher learned if you gave me something in a comic book format, I would read it. So she introduced me to Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, Moby Dick, uh, basically all the classics. I read them all. She had them in comic book format in the classroom, and I read every one of them. And I read them over and over again. Sherlock Holmes, and to this day, I love mystery movies and mystery shows. Um, Anything that has a good mystery. One of my favorites right now of the mystery movies, a good one if you want to catch them, is what's it? It's on Netflix. Onion. See, what is that? Oh God, it's slipping my mind. Knives Out. That's it. Knives Out. Definitely watch all three of those. They're very good mystery movies. If you love a good mystery, those are definitely something I would recommend. You can see I'm into Transformers and the DC heroes there. I got an autograph picture of Nod from the Superman movie with Christopher Reeve. It's right here in the background. It's autographed. I met him in person at the Superman celebration, 50th celebration a few years back. It was fun. I loved meeting. He was such a nice man, and his birthday's like just a few days from mine. That was really cool. I didn't know that. I'm glad I got to meet him. He's like 80. I think he's 83. He was 83 years old then. I think he's still alive. I hope so. But the window of time to meet these people that were in these movies is getting shorter and shorter. I mean, we already lost. The guy played Lex Luthor, Gene Hackman, I think he was. Yeah, I think. Yeah, he's already passed away, and sadly, it was a tragedy what happened to him and his wife and their dogs. Gas leak. I mean, yeah, that was sad. And you never know what's going to happen with these people. But as far as my religion, I still follow the teachings of Christ as best I can, and I see myself as a follower of Christ. I just don't want to live with the label of Christian anymore because people don't follow it, and I don't like what it represents now. It represents hate, and I don't want to be associated with that. I just don't. And my upbringing just doesn't allow for that. When people say, how can I be a Democrat or vote for Democrats? I say, well, the Democrats, if you look at what Jesus said, are more aligned with what Jesus said to do. I mean, are they perfect? No, not by a long shot. But they're far closer to what Jesus said to do and how to be than the Republicans are. They just are. It's not even an argument. I don't know how else to say it. But yeah. Jesus said you'll be judged by your works and by your deeds. That's how they'll know you're a Christian. Not by what you say. If you get up and start just, I'm a Christian, well, then you're probably not. So, I just wanted to lay out why I see the world the way I see it. Am I right all the time? Heck no, I'm a human. I make mistakes. I don't even pretend to be right all the time. But I don't want to get into too many stories just yet because I want to save some of it for future videos. I will be posting more videos on here to try to build up some things. But this was mostly just for this video is an introduction video, just so I can lay out some things so you can see who I am. Um, I know nobody's watching this live, so it doesn't matter, but it'll be posted and I'll probably uh, pin it on my page so it can be looked at as the introduction. I've already gone, what is it, 20 minutes. Wow, I didn't know I'd rambled that long. But I'm pretty sure most of my other videos are going to be out there. And I am going to try to include some of my family's history, some of my stories, some things that happened with us here and there. And I just want to get out and let the people know who I am, what I stand for. Um, I do Uber and Lyft rides, so I'll probably have some stories about that. May even have some videos from the drives from time to time if something shows up on my dash cam that's interesting. I will not be posting anything of any of my riders. I draw the line there. I will not do that because there's legal issues with it, for one, and I just don't want to include them. Because even if they gave permission, they may change their mind, and I don't want to get involved in that. So I'm staying away from that. Um, well, I'm not sure what else to say here. I appreciate anybody that watches, and if you can like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. I do have a Patreon. There's a link on my bio page. If you want to give anything, you can give. That's great. If you can't, that's fine too. I understand it's a rough economy. Even when I do Uber and Lyft rides, I do not expect a tip. If people tip, that's great. If they don't, that's okay too. I understand not everybody can afford it, so I don't hold it against anybody that doesn't tip. I just don't. It's not the way to be. And I try to help people as best I can, when I'm in the position to do so. And I have a beautiful wife and a beautiful daughter, and apparently a very attractive mother, from what I can tell that's been going on, because she's been getting hit on by men left and right for some reason ever since she became a widow. But yeah, that's a little disturbing. That's also kind of weird, which we all laugh about it. So I do have a sister. We talk from time to time. We don't get along as much as we probably should. Hopefully that'll change before too long. I don't know. There's some family background there that we have conflict. You know how siblings are. Sometimes we get along, sometimes we don't. There's a lot of issues underlying there that I'm not going to get into on here. But I do love my sister. Even if we don't get along, I still love her. So I guess that's just the way it is. You're always going to love your sibling, even if they screw up really bad, and if they don't. So, or if you just don't see eye to eye on stuff, because we don't. We're like polar opposites. Me and my sister. We just like that for some reason. Probably because the way I see the world. And she accepts she more than anybody knows how crazy my brain is. She literally got me a little statue one time that said, "Why be normal?" Which I kept on my desk when I worked at Northrop Grumman for like the longest time. And a lot of people looked at that and they kind of figured that out. Anyway, I worked at that's another thing. I worked at Northrop Grumman for like 8 years. I worked for them for 8 years as a tech support. So yeah, I do know. I'm tech savvy. Let's just say I know how to use a lot of this stuff sometimes. if I can stay focused. But yeah. Anyway, I think that's enough details about myself and my background. I'll be adding more on as I just said moron. Anyway, I'll be adding more stuff as I go along, and hopefully I can get a regular video out. I'm hoping to do at least one a week on maybe a live stream of stuff, depending on what's going on with everything. I do another channel where I do live stream of video gameplay. It's Proteus Chris, if you want to check that channel out. I do have another channel. I haven't had much time to do as many videos where I do stuff with the cats. Basically use some AI to make them talk. I know people call it AI slop, but yeah, I enjoy it and play with it. And honestly, I think that's where AI should stay right now, is entertainment and entertainment only. It shouldn't be used for anything important that would involve people's lives. I'm sorry, it's just not there yet. They're pushing it, but it's not there. It's not how they put it. Not ready for prime time. But I don't know. I'm trying to look at my script here. It had some suggestions. What did it say? I do like the thumbnail it made for me, and the look. Hmm. Nah, I'll talk about some of this other stuff later. I will be putting some things up. I do have some avatars. I'll use some stuff. I think I'll use one of them to do some fun hillbilly quotes. I got a character I made. It's a hillbilly elf. So I think I'll use her to do some cute stuff. But again, anybody that watches this, I appreciate it. Again, and if you like what you see, and you have spare money and you want to give some to Patreon, by all means do so. I appreciate it, and it would help me be able to focus on this more and be out on the road less, which is something I would really like to do. I don't mind doing Uber, I don't mind doing Lyft, but I'd rather do them the way they were meant to be done, as a side hustle, instead of doing them as a main source of income, because quite frankly, it's really tiring to try to go out there and constantly run. It drains me, and I don't have the energy. I'm getting older, and I just don't have the strength to keep doing it. I would much rather do this and talk to people and just. I like to talk, unfortunately, sometimes. I talk too much. I say too much. But I'll. One of the other things I will probably be doing on this channel will be some stories from Uber, my Uber rides, some of the Lyft rides, and some of the people and things I've interacted with. And I will put those stories, probably be shorts, because those short stories are not super long. So they'll be something I'll add in. Anyway, I need to go because I got to go to bed, and because it is almost 10 o'clock and it is way past my bedtime. So thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share it, put a comment on, whatever, just trigger that algorithm. And thank you guys, and you have a good day.